Greetings, Earthlings, wisdom keepers, wisdom seekers. Welcome back to Wisdom Dropz, your source for daily drops of wisdom and savvy cat astrology. My name is Tanya, and today we are discussing for the Earth signs. Where are you at, Earth signs? The new moon happening in the sign of Gemini on May 22nd, 2020. Can you sense the 2 energy at 2 degrees of Gemini, okay? If you did not already, Earth sign, watch the intro video that I did for this forecast. Be sure to do that because it's going to help you better understand the underlying tones of this new moon and the opportunities that are being presented to not only you as an individual, but the collective and you as an individual within that, okay? So be sure to watch it. Now, we're going to jump right into the 3 primary houses that you need to pay attention to during this new moon period to maximize it to your best advantage possible. Now, first off, Taurus. Taurus, this is happening in your 3rd house, okay? Excuse me, your 2nd house. What am I doing? I'm tripping, acting like your Aries. In your 2nd house, Taurus, and your 11th house, okay? So the moon itself is in the 2nd house, and Mars is making a square to that moon from the 11th house. So therefore, it's something to do with value that you're going to be able to grow over this 2 to 4 week period of time, Taurus, until the next new moon, and also building your dreams because you have the 11th house activated, and that's your dreams and your networks. So you as a Taurus might feel like right now there's something to do with your values or your what you have, what you possess, your money, even finances, possessions that you own, belongings, tangible things in your everyday reality, even the way you eat. 2nd house, that could all be that stuff. There's some type of tension there between that and your networks, that and your higher dreams, that and your aspirations, that and your goals, okay? There's some type of tension that's trying to be reconciled at this time because the 2nd and the 11th house are activated double time, double over, double fold, because we also have another square aspect happening between the 2nd and the 11th house, and that's going to be the Mercury-Venus conjunction in Gemini squaring Neptune, okay, in that 11th house for you Tauruses. So there's something to do with dreams in your own life, 11th house that you have, and this is like the energy of this conjunction or this planetary conversation in general before we even apply it to your chart, because Neptune squaring Mercury and Venus together is literally like dreams need to line up with what you're doing, people. If you want what you love, Venus square Neptune, okay, what you love, what's going to bring you pleasure and abundance, your dreams, like what you want to get lost in and just rub all over your body and lick it up, like that's that energy. You need to maximize it to your advantage at this time through utilizing it strategically. And how do you utilize it strategically? Great question. Use the 11th house, because the 11th house is activated in this conversation, and that's your goals, your aspirations, and your dreams, right? Which is currently being lit up like a Christmas tree by Mars, the planet of action and desire, okay? It's like an engine of the zodiac, and also Neptune, which is the planet of dreams and also escapism. So if you're a Taurus and you want to use this energy healthily, escape into the dreams that you have mentally, emotionally, etc., into the dreams that you have for your life that you want to build through, you could even healthily apply some mind-altering substances if that's up your alley, and if it's not, or you're avoiding that, then forget that, because that's not good advice. But if it is part of your practice, then definitely consider having a drink or 2 or whatever and sitting down and meditating, spending that time more intentionally rather than just like, yeah, I'm gonna drink to get drunk. Drink to get conscious about your dreams that you want to call into your life, because that's actually a way you could apply the astrology at this point in time. If you want to strategically use it, it's up to you. You can. Now, we talked a lot about the 2nd and the 11th house, Taurus, but you also have activation in the 9th house because you have a conversation of flow between the moon in the 2nd house and the 9th house with Jupiter and Pluto there, and that's huge. And then Saturn is going to be in your 10th house. So this is really a good opportune time for you as a Taurus to build something in relationship to higher knowledge, because the 9th house is activated and it also is a dreamlike energy. So higher knowledge for you could become something you own or value, 2nd house at this time, and you could find that by investing in higher knowledge. If you're a Taurus, maybe you decide to go back to school during this time because you're having a really good aspect happening between the 9th house. We have the lords of fate there, Pluto, Jupiter, and the 10th house, Saturn in the in the 10th house from your ascendant as a Taurus. So you can actually say, hey, maybe I need to go back to school to build my career, 10th house, back to school, 9th house. And that if it feels really aligned during this time, you're going to be building your capacity, building your knowledge bank being the sign of Gemini, because it's your 2nd house and it rules things of knowledge, and it's Mercury-Venus conjunction there right now, is in flow with your 9th house. So higher knowledge is yours to have, Taurus. You are ready to level up with your brain activity, Taurus. I think a lot of Tauruses out there are going to experience an investment in their higher knowledge bank for the purpose of career, and feel that they could seek that and reap some really positive results. And I think that you can under this new moon. Just looking at it from Taurus energy alone, this is a great time. If you decide that you need to go back and invest in higher knowledge, whatever that means for you, friend, in order to go forward in your career and build those long-term dreams in your job life, and maybe it's to be your own boss or to be a boss, period, in an organization or structure, because the 10th house is activated and Saturn, then yeah, I think you could go for that and be very successful, Taurus. Okay, moving along to Virgo. Hey Virgo, what's up Virgo? How are you? Virgo, you're gonna have this moon happening between your 10th house and Gemini, and it's gonna be squaring your 7th house in a lot of ways with Mars and Neptune there. There's 2 separate aspects. If you didn't watch the intro video for the series, please do, because I give you a lot more depth and explain why this is going on, okay? Now, your 10th house is going to be definitely what you're doing out in the world, okay, Virgo, and it's definitely going to be what you're doing in a light of being a manager. And you as a Virgo are really good at managing in general, because the 10th house is ruled by Gemini, and Gemini is very skilled. And also, you as a Virgo are very practical because you're ruled by Mercury. Now, your planetary ruler, Virgo, Mercury, is in a conjunction with Venus right now in the 10th house. So there's something beautiful blossoming is the word that's coming to me in your 10th house as a Virgo. If you're a Virgo energy person, you have a blossoming opportunity in your 10th house right now of Gemini. And from that same house, you're also experiencing some tension though, and that's going to be because there's a hard aspect happening as well. So, you know, between your 10th and your 5th house is how you're going to really get out of that though, Virgo, because the 5th house is being activated with a trine, and same with the 6th house, between the planets of the moon itself and Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. Saturn's in Aquarius, Jupiter and Pluto are in the sign of Capricorn. So that's going to be like a way to get out of this tension, or a way to get out of anything that comes up that you feel like, hey, I don't know, like what I'm doing for my career, my partnerships and my career in conflict, because the 7th house and the 10th house are in square aspects twice over, because there's like a Mars and a Neptune square being sent out to the sign of Gemini. Mars is squaring everything, Neptune is squaring everything, well, specifically Mercury and Venus, and Mars is squaring the moon, but you know what I mean. What I'm saying is that your relationships, Virgo, might not feel compatible with your career and with your stance as a boss within your career at this point in time, but how you get out of all of that is your 5th house. And your 5th house is your kids, your 5th house is your passion projects, your business endeavors, because the 5th house is like what you create, it's your creations, it's your creativity house. So when you have your own business, it's very much so like a passion project, right? Or something you create similarly to a child. So if you're a Virgo and your spouse or your partner's in tension with your long-term career goals during this moon, fall back on the solid reasons that are there within your kids, within your businesses. Something in relationship to what you create is going to be more appealing and help you gain ease through what might feel like tension. Another thing is, if relationships in general, say you're not a partnered up Virgo, if relationships in general seem like they're in conflict with your career, or that your career is in conflict because of relationships at work, fall back to fun and fall back to creative hobbies and passion projects of yours. If nothing else, to just let off steam and to allow the energy that needs to manifest in a more constructive way, because you have a conversation of flow being offered to you between that same house, the 10th house, and the 5th house, okay? And that's going to be your fun house. Literally, it's a fun house. All right, Virgo. If you're not subscribed, Virgo, you should be. Why aren't you subscribed? Subscribe. I love you. Mercury in the house, okay? Mercury in the house. That's all I got to say. Moving along. 2. Capricorn. Capricorn, this moon itself is happening in your 6th house and it's squaring your 3rd house. So twice over you have squares Capricorn from the 6th house and the 3rd house. So this has to do with health and everyday activities in your everyday environment and also skills. So you could feel like there's even mental health being activated here because the moon rules the mental state, and during a new moon you could be more in tune with your mental state because it's in the 6th house for you, and the 6th house is ruled by Mercury for you. Mercury also rules the mental activity. So there's twice over indicator to us here as astrologers or students of astrology that there are mental health themes at play, because the 6th house is a house of health. It's also a house of disease, and in your particular chart it's ruled by Mercury because it's the sign of Gemini, and because Mercury itself as a planet is in the sign of Gemini, it's in its own sign. So there's like layers of paying attention that we should do to mercurial topics, and also because the moon is there, it implies another layer that this could be a mental health topic that we're discussing for you Capricorns. So if you are a Capricorn, you could be having tension between the 6th house and the 3rd house. Even like your everyday activities around your home, neighborhood could feel really tense, or like they're mentally not healthy for you. Maybe you're a Capricorn with that energy, you're like, you know what, I can't keep doing this, I need to go out of quarantine or whatever, or I need to go and like do something else with my time and learn some skills for a job that I want to do. You could be, that's a good way to use this energy, Capricorn. You could be putting in your skills like mad crazy right now to build some really cool thing that's going to take daily dedication to build, because you have that activation with this mercurial energy of the 3rd and the 6th. And the 3rd house in your chart is Pisces, so it's something to do with like spiritualism as well, possibly like your spiritual skills you're applying on a repeated basis, maybe even to heal others if not to heal you, because the moon is also a healing planet and it's in the 6th house, and it's receiving that positive aspect to the 1st house, and you become the healer in that equation because the 1st house is you, okay, because you have Jupiter there and Pluto there. Pluto is the planet of transformation, the planet that rules shaman, okay, people who heal people through deep states of transformation, okay, and psychological altering, okay. So there's a lot of indicators here, Capricorn, as to how you yourself might be becoming a healing figure, and if not a healing figure for others, then a healing figure for yourself, because you have that 1st house receiving a positive trine flow vibe from this new moon happening in the 6th house. So you can become the healer, you see what I'm saying, because you are the 1st house and the moon is the body. So you might find that you find an ability through gaining new skills, that could be the 6th house square the 3rd house, okay, in Pisces, through gaining new skills around healing and becoming more of like a doctor type energy, whether that's an herbalist, whether that's a counselor, whatever that is. 6th house, 3rd house in a conversation of tension, right? Gaining something new, feeling like you need to gain something new, so that what? So that you can receive that positive energy from the 6th house back on the 1st house, so that you can become the person who's healing 1st to 6th in a conversation of flow. You see how that works? See how it works? Astrology, people, we are building astrology capacity. Now with that said, Capricorn, be sure to pay attention to the fact that you have that good energy happening between the 6th and the 1st house, and use it to your advantage. How? By focusing on your daily habits. If you're a Capricorn out there and you have been lacking on your daily habits, get back on your daily habits. Consider this your cosmic wake up call. Wake up, wake up. That's right, wake up, Capricorn, because it's time for you to level up through your healthy habits and through your diligence and what you're putting in consistently every day, 6th house, for the next 2 to 4 weeks, and you can really see some results if you choose to do that, because you're receiving a positive aspect to that 1st house. And anytime during a new moon in particular that you have a 1st house activation, you have an opportunity to utilize it to level up your own self, because the 1st house is the body, the 1st house is you in this lifetime, okay? So with that said, if you're a Capricorn and you didn't watch the intro video, you should, because it's going to give you more depth, and I am available for readings. If you want a reading, go ahead and reach out to me at wisdomdropz, that's all Z's, at gmail.com. Subscribe if you're not already, Capricorn. Why aren't you subscribed? You should be. Boss, boss, boss. Why aren't you subscribed, Capricorn? You need to be. And make sure you share it with a friend, because people listen to you. You see what I'm saying, Capricorn? You see what I'm saying? Wink, wink. All right, with that said, may the stars be with you. Peace.